Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of NASCAR's Lost Teams, Ellington Racing. Ellington Racing is a former NASCAR Cup Series race team that competed from 1968 through 1988. Charles Haas Ellington was the owner of the race team and originally was also the team's first driver. Several notable drivers spent time behind the wheel of one of the team's race cars, such as Cale Yarborough, A.J. Foyt, Bobby Issac, Donnie Allison, David Pearson, Buddy Baker, Sterling Marlin, and Dale Jarrett, just to mention a few. In 1968, Ellington made both he and his team's NASCAR debut in Atlanta in the summer. In a number 61 Mercury, he started 24th, but after an issue with a race car's suspension ended his race on lap 80, it left Ellington to finish 31st. Over the next 3 seasons, he would make 21 starts in all, with the best start of 8th twice, in 1969 at South Boston and Winston-Salem in the summer. His best finish was 7th, twice also in 1969, at Charlotte in the spring and Rockingham in the fall. Overall in those 21 starts, he scored 4 top 10s. Though after the 1970 American 500 held at Rockingham in the fall, Ellington would climb out of his driver's seat for good to focus on building his team, serving as just the team's owner. After spending over a season away from the sport, in 1972, Ellington put Fred Lorenzen behind the wheel of the team's number 28 Lemon Tree Inn Fords and Chevrolets for 7 starts. Lorenzen had a few strong races for his team. His best start was 2nd at Darlington in the spring, and his best finish was 4th twice at Talladega in the spring and Darlington in the fall. Overall, in 7 starts, he scored 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s. John Sears made 1 start as well in the team's number 28 Chevrolet at North Wilkesboro in the fall, starting 8th and finishing a solid 5th. The final 3 starts Ellington Racing made in 1972 was with Cale Yarborough behind the wheel of the number 28 Chevrolet. His best start was 6th twice at Charlotte and Rockingham in the fall. His best finish was 6th at Rockingham in the fall. In 3 starts, he scored 2 top 10s. So the team overall made 11 starts, scoring 3 top 5s and 6 top 10s. For 1973, Ellington Racing continued making select starts in the Cup Series with a few different drivers. Charlie Glotzbach made 4 starts in the team's number 28 Chevrolet. His best start was 5th, and his best finish was 24th, both coming at Charlotte in the spring. Gordon Johncock made 6 starts for Ellington. His best start was 1st in Atlanta in the spring. This was the team's first career pole position. Johncock's best finish was 4th at Daytona in the summer. Overall, in 6 starts, he scored 1 top 5 and 1 top 10. Grandma Stott also made 1 start for the team at Talladega in the summer, starting 8th but finishing 45th after an issue with the transmission, ending his race on lap 46. Ellington Racing continued to improve in 1974 in the NASCAR Cup Series. Charlie Glotzbach made the first 3 starts of the season for the number 28 Pylon Wiper Blade Chevrolet team. Sheldon Pittman served as the team's crew chief for the 1974 Cup Series season, as he would pretty much for the team's entire existence. Glotzbach's best start was 3rd, and his best finish was 4th, both coming at Rockingham in the spring. Throughout Glotzbach's 3 starts, he scored 1 top 5 and 1 top 10. Sam McQuagg made 3 starts in the team's number 28 Chevrolet. His best start was 9th at Talladega in the spring, and his best finish was 7th at Darlington in the spring. In 3 starts, he scored 2 top 10s. The 1970 NASCAR Cup Series champion, Bobby Issac, made 7 starts for the team. His best start was 7th twice at Martinsville in the spring and Daytona in the summer. His best finish was 6th, also twice, at Daytona in the summer and North Wilkesboro in the fall. Overall, in 7 starts, Issac scored 3 top 10s. A.J. Foyt made the final 2 starts of the 1974 Cup Series season for Ellington. His best start was 2nd, and his best finish was 4th, both coming at Ontario in the fall. Throughout the entire 74 Cup Series season, the team made 15 starts, scoring 2 top 5s and 7 top 10s. Next came the 1975 NASCAR Cup Series season, and again, several drivers made starts for the team. A.J. Foyt made 7 starts. His best start was 3rd, 3 times, at Michigan in the summer, then Charlotte and Rockingham in the fall. His best finish was 5th at Rockingham in the fall. In 7 starts, Foyt only scored 1 top 5 and 1 top 10. Charlie Glotzbach made 1 start at Charlotte in the spring, starting 9th and finishing 6th. Bobby Issac also made 1 start for Ellington at Rockingham in the spring, starting 9th and finishing 29th, after handling issues ended his race on lap 113. Gordon Johncock made 1 start as well at Talladega in the spring, starting 9th and finishing 36th after he blew his engine on lap 47. Donnie Allison made 2 starts in the team's number 28 Chevrolet. His best start was 4th, and his best finish was 3rd, both coming at Talladega in the summer. Throughout the 1975 Cup Series season, Ellington Racing made 12 starts, scoring 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s. As opposed to using several different drivers throughout a single season, in 1976, Haas Ellington decided to use only 2 different drivers to split the team's partial schedule. A.J. Foyt made 5 starts behind the wheel of Ellington's number 28 Gilmore Enterprises Chevrolet. His best start was 1st, and his best finish was 4th, both coming at Daytona in the summer. Overall, in 5 starts, he scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 1 top 5, and 1 top 10. Donnie Allison made the other 9 starts for the team, 6 in a number 28 and 3 in a number 1 Chevrolet. His best start was 3rd at Talladega in the spring, and his best finish was 1st at Charlotte in the fall. This was the team's first Cup Series victory. Overall, in 9 starts, he scored 1 win, 2 top 5s, and 5 top 10s. Ellington Racing had their strongest season to date in 1976, scoring 1 pole, 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 6 top 10s in 14 starts. The 1977 NASCAR Cup Series season saw Haas Ellington only run 1 driver in his car throughout the entire season, for the first time since he drove himself in 1970. Donnie Allison was behind the wheel of the team's number 1 Hawaiian Tropic Chevrolet, making 17 starts. By far, 77 was the team's strongest season thus far in their existence. Allison's best start was 1st 3 times at both Rockingham races and Daytona in the spring. His best finish was 1st twice, at Talladega in the summer and Rockingham in the fall. Overall scoring 3 poles, 2 wins, 9 top 5s, and 10 top 10s, finishing 24th in final Cup Series point standings. After such a strong season, Ellington brought back Donnie Allison for the 1978 Cup Series season. They again found success together, just not quite as much as the season prior. Allison's best start was 2nd at Rockingham in the fall, and his best finish was 1st at Atlanta in the fall. In 14 starts, Allison scored 1 win, 7 top 5s, and 7 top 10s. That following season, in 1979, Ellington again brought Donnie Allison back as the team's exclusive driver of the team's number 1 Hawaiian Tropic Chevrolets and Oldsmobiles. Allison in the number 1 car was a part of one of NASCAR's biggest moments, the 1979 Daytona 500 fight at the end of the race between Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison. Battling for the victory, they wrecked each other with only a lap or so to go. They climbed from each other's race cars and started throwing blows. Bobby Allison, Donnie's brother, stopped to assist in the fight as well. There was a blizzard on the east coast of the United States, meaning millions and millions of people were stuck in their homes watching the race. This was the beginning of the explosive growth of NASCAR throughout the 1980s and 1990s. Allison made 20 starts throughout the season. His best start was 1st at Darlington in the spring, and his best finish was 2nd twice at Michigan in the summer and Dover in the fall. Overall, Allison scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 7 top 5s, and 10 top 10s, finishing 24th in final Cup Series point standings. Neil Bonnet also made 1 start for the team in a number 5 Oldsmobile at Rockingham in the spring, starting 10th and finishing 33rd after a crash on lap 9 ended his race. As the new decade began in 1980, Ellington Racing had both Donnie Allison and David Pearson make starts in their number 1 Chevrolets and Oldsmobiles. Allison made the first 3 starts of the season for Ellington. His best start was 2nd at Daytona in the spring, and his best finish was 5th at Rockingham in the spring, scoring 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s in 3 starts. David Pearson made 9 starts in the team's number 1 Hawaiian Tropic Chevrolets and Oldsmobiles. Pearson's best start was 1st at Talladega in the spring, and his best finish was 1st at Darlington in the spring. This would be the team's final Cup Series victory. Haas Ellington himself served as the team's crew chief for the 1980 season. In 9 starts, Pearson scored 1 pole, 1 win, 4 top 5s, and 5 top 10s. Overall, in 12 starts, Ellington Racing scored 1 pole, 1 win, 5 top 5s, and 7 top 10s. Then in 1981, Ellington had Buddy Baker make 15 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 1 Uno Buicks and Oldsmobiles. Sheldon Pittman returned as the team's crew chief for the 1981 season. He also goes by Runt Pittman, and in fact, in the mid-90s, he'd go on to build a couple of really awesome engines for Morgan McClure Motorsports, in fact, winning a couple Daytona 500s. As he would basically serve as the team's crew chief for the remainder of their existence. Baker's best start was 2nd, and his best finish was 2nd, both coming at Talladega in the spring. They definitely had some solid runs scoring 6 top 5s and 9 top 10s in 15 starts. David Pearson also made one start for Ellington in the fall at Darlington, behind the wheel of a number 01 Rodney Steele Buick, starting 13th and finishing 8th. So in 16 starts throughout the 81 Cup Series season, the team scored 6 top 5s and 10 top 10s. The 1982 NASCAR Cup Series season saw several drivers make starts for Ellington Racing. Buddy Baker made 7 starts to begin the season. His best start was first at Darlington in the spring, and his best finish was 5th at Charlotte in the spring. In 7 starts, Baker scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 1 top 5, and 2 top 10s. Benny Parsons made 2 starts for Ellington. His best start was 13th at Rockingham in the fall, and his best finish was 32nd in Michigan in the spring. Cal Petty also made 6 starts in the team's number 1. His best start was 8th at Michigan in the summer, and his best finish was 14th at Darlington in the fall. The last driver to make a start for Ellington Racing in '82 was Donnie Allison in Atlanta in the fall, starting 22nd and finishing 38th. After an accident, ended his race on lap 36. With 4 different drivers making 17 starts, they collectively scored 1 pole, 0 wins, 1 top 5, and 2 top 10s. Actually, all by Buddy Baker himself. Ellington Racing would go back to only having a single driver for the next 2 seasons, in 1983 and 1984. Lake Speed would make 35 starts during this time. Speed had some solid runs throughout his stay with the team. Speed's best start was 2nd twice, at Pocono in the spring and Darlington in the fall of 1984. His best finish was 3rd twice, at Talladega in the spring of 1983 and Rockingham in the spring of 1984. Speed collectively scored 4 top 5s and 12 top 10s in 35 starts. For the 1985 NASCAR Cup Series season, Ellington Racing had a few different drivers. Davey Allison made the first 3 starts of his Cup Series career behind the wheel of the team's number 1 Lancaster Tobacco Chevrolet. His best start was 17th at Charlotte in the fall, and his best finish was 10th in his Cup Series debut at Talladega in the summer. David Pearson made 8 starts behind the wheel of the team's number 21 Chattanooga Chew Chevrolet. His best start was 2nd at Darlington in the spring, and his best finish was 10th at Daytona in the summer. In 8 starts, David Pearson scored 1 top 10. Brooke Wilson also made 1 start in Ellington's number 21 Chevrolet in Atlanta in the fall, starting 31st and finishing 18th. Pancho Carter also made 1 start in the team's number 1 Chevrolet at Darlington in the fall, starting 29th and finishing 22nd. In 13 starts throughout the 1985 Cup Series season, Ellington Racing only scored 2 top 10s. Again, as Ellington Racing always had, for the 1986 season, they ran a limited schedule. Sterling Marlin made 10 starts behind the wheel of Ellington's number 1 Bullseye Barbecue Sauce Chevrolet. Marlin definitely showed good pace at times, having last real competitive runs of the team's existence. Marlin's best start was 4th at Charlotte in the spring, and his best finish was 2nd at Daytona in the summer. Overall, in 10 starts, Marlin scored 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s. In 1987, Ron Bouchard would make the first 5 starts of the season for Ellington Racing's number 1 Bullseye Barbecue Sauce Chevrolets and Buicks. His best start was 13th at Talladega in the spring, and his best finish was 8th at Darlington in the spring, scoring 1 top 10 in 5 starts. The team's next driver was Brett Bodine, who made the final 14 starts of the season. His best start was 5th at Michigan in the summer. His best finish was 11th at Daytona in the summer. Collectively, in 19 starts, the team only scored 1 top 10. Ellington Racing's final season was 1988, and Dale Jarrett was the team's final driver in their number 1 Portaloo Buick. His best start was 11th at Michigan in the summer, and his best finish was also 11th at Talladega in the spring. In the team's final race, which was the season finale in Atlanta, Jarrett started 34th and finished 41st, following a lap 5 accident. Now, they did attempt to qualify for the 1989 Daytona 500 with Doug Heveron behind the wheel of an unsponsored Buick, though they blew their engine on the first lap of their qualifying race, which forced them to miss the event. So, in 265 NASCAR Cup Series starts, the team scored 7 poles, 5 wins, 52 top 5s, and 92 top 10s, with the best points finish of 24th twice, in 1977 and 1979, both by Donnie Allison. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.